Libra. Have you ever met someone and felt your entire emotional world tilt like the scales you were born under? Have you ever stood in front of a stranger, yet it felt like you were meeting a mirror, reflecting back the parts of yourself you've tried to keep hidden? This message isn't just a prediction. It's a spiritual whisper in a moment where you're being watched from above to see how you respond when the heart is stirred, but your soul is being tested. An unexpected encounter is on its way. It's not random, it's not ordinary, and it will challenge everything you thought you had healed. Before we begin, type in the comments, "I choose to stay grounded, no matter what comes." This simple declaration helps anchor you for what's ahead. Stay until the end. This encounter could change more than your emotions. It could change your destiny. The cosmic arrival. Libra. There is someone quietly moving toward your life. Not with noise, not with flashing lights, but with an energy that stirs something inside you before you even know their name. This is not a meeting that will feel rushed. It will feel like breath being held for too long, finally released. Like a pause in your story that somehow begins a whole new chapter without warning. They will not arrive when you feel your strongest. In fact, their entrance will happen during a time when you're picking yourself back up. When you're reflecting on what you've lost. When your heart has started to rebuild its walls, just to feel safe again. And then suddenly, they appear. Not as a hero, not as a rescuer, not as a savior, but as a mirror. Their presence won't fix you. It will show you. It will reflect something back to you that you weren't ready to see until now. You'll notice small things, the timing of their message, the strange calm that surrounds them, the way your energy shifts when they're near, even in silence. It may be a smile that lingers, a sentence that strikes deeper than it should, a pause that carries more weight than words ever could. They won't match your checklist. They may not fit the image you imagined, but your spirit will feel something ancient, something eternal, as if you've crossed paths before, in another life, another world, or perhaps in the dreams you forgot you had. You'll feel both curiosity and caution at the same time. Because while your soul whispers, "Pay attention," your mind reminds you of everything you've survived. And that's what makes this encounter so powerful. It doesn't come to sweep you off your feet. It comes to see if you can keep both feet on the ground while the universe shifts around you. You may question if you're ready. You may wonder why now, why this way, and why this person. But remember, not everything divine is comfortable at first. Some arrivals are designed to shake you awake, not to tuck you in. This person may carry answers to questions you've stopped asking, or they may carry more questions that push you closer to the truth you've been avoiding. Whatever they bring, it's not by accident. The universe does not waste movement. And right now, Libra, every step, theirs and yours, is guided. Stay open, stay present, stay grounded. Because what's arriving is not random. It is written, and it's coming closer every single day. Why this person affects you so strongly. Libra, you are a soul built for balance. You seek peace, calm, and understanding in a world that often brings confusion. You've learned how to steady yourself, how to smile, even when you're unraveling inside. But this person, they interrupt that balance. And not in a careless way, but in a way that feels fated. They carry something that feels strangely familiar. Their energy matches yours in strange ways, but instead of comforting you, it stirs you. It moves emotions that have been quiet for too long. It shifts thoughts you thought were settled, and it touches wounds you didn't realize were still open. They may speak gently, but their words strike something buried deep. They might not even mean to, but a single sentence from them may echo inside you for days. Their eyes, they don't just look at you, they look into you. Not in a threatening way, but in a knowing way. As if they see past the smile, past the surface, straight into the silent parts of you you've never shared. This person will not always know what they're doing to your spirit, but you will. You'll feel it, that pull, that internal vibration, that awareness that something sacred is being stirred. And in that stirring, you'll be faced with a question. Will you run, like you did in the past, the times you felt too seen, too exposed, too vulnerable? Or will you breathe through it this time? Will you sit with the emotions, even as they shake your foundation? Will you allow yourself to stay rooted, not in fear but in growth? Because this encounter, It's not here to flatter your ego. It's here to test your healing. It's not romantic fantasy. It's emotional reality. It's not here to sweep you off your feet. It's here to see if you can keep your feet firmly on the ground, even when your heart begins to race. They may not be perfect, they may not stay, but their presence has a purpose. They've come to press on the soft places in your spirit, to reveal if you've truly learned how to hold yourself steady when life surprises you, when attraction is real, when connection is intense, when emotions rise and grounding is the only way forward. This is not about losing yourself. It's about discovering how far you've come. Because if you can hold your center in the presence of someone who shakes you this deeply, then you are no longer the person who needed protection. You are the person who has become the protector of your peace, of your boundaries, of your heart. And that is the true test. Not whether you feel something, but whether you can feel everything and still stand strong in your truth. The spiritual trigger. This is not a romance story, Libra. This is a soul-stirring experience that comes to awaken you, not to hold your hand through comfort, but to hold a mirror to your growth. You've been asking for clarity. You've been asking for truth. You've whispered prayers in the quiet, asking for signs, for strength, for direction. And now, this person appears, but not to complete you, not to become your other half. They're here to confront the parts of you that still live in shadow. They show up not with answers, but with reflection. They reflect back to you the places where your heart still trembles, where your faith still shakes, where your past still speaks louder than your peace. You might notice your confidence shift when they speak. You might suddenly question your worth. You might feel old fears rise, the fear of not being enough, the fear of being too much, the fear of being left behind again. Their presence is a trigger, but not a trigger to break you, a trigger to show you, to uncover what still hides beneath the surface of your healing. You'll feel a strange mixture of joy and confusion. One moment, their presence will lift you. You'll feel seen, noticed, valued. But the next, you may feel exposed, nervous, unsure, because something in you recognizes this moment is bigger than attraction. It's touching something deep. This is what makes it spiritual, not the connection itself, but the way it calls your soul to attention. And you'll start to feel the push and pull inside of you. Should you open your heart or protect it? Should you trust the feeling or guard yourself from what it might become? This encounter reveals how much of your past you've truly released. Are you still carrying fear wrapped in love's disguise? Are you still apologizing for your emotions just to keep others close? Are you still shrinking so you don't scare someone away? Libra, this is your turning point. The trigger is not here to destroy your peace. It's here to test if your peace is truly yours, or if it's borrowed from the absence of emotion. Can you feel fully, without falling apart? Can you stay grounded, while being pulled by something unfamiliar? Can you look at this person and say, I see you, but I see myself too, and I will not abandon me for the sake of anyone? That's what this encounter is really about. It's not about how strong the connection is, it's about how strong you remain within the connection. Because the greatest spiritual growth doesn't come from love that keeps you safe. It comes from the kind that wakes you up. So breathe, Libra. You are not being tested to break you. You are being tested to prove that what you've built inside is now unshakable. How to stay grounded when your heart rushes. Take a breath, Libra. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel your chest rise and fall. Feel your feet pressing into the ground beneath you. That stillness you feel, that's your anchor, that's your power. When someone comes into your life and stirs emotions you haven't felt in a long time, or perhaps ever, it's easy to lose your center. It's easy to float away in thoughts and feelings and daydreams, but now is when you must come home to yourself. This is how you stay grounded. When your heart races, don't rush to speak. Don't rush to react. Sit with what you're feeling. Take a pen. Write it down. Let the emotions move through ink before they move into your actions. When confusion sets in, when you find yourself overthinking their words or wondering what they mean, pause. Ask your soul, not your fear. Ask your spirit, not your insecurity. Ask, what do I truly need right now to feel safe, whole, and clear? Don't give your power away by looking for answers only in them. Return to your center. Return to your voice. Return to the version of you that existed before they walked in, the one who has already survived so much and still rises with grace. When you're tempted to mold yourself just to keep their interest, remember this truth. The right connection will never ask you to shrink. You were not created to fade in someone else's light. You were made to shine side by side, not in their shadow. Grounding doesn't mean becoming cold. It doesn't mean pretending not to care. It doesn't mean building walls. It means staying steady. It means holding your own hand. It means choosing presence over panic. It means learning how to feel deeply and still make choices rooted in love for yourself. You don't need to run. You don't need to obsess. You don't need to play a role that doesn't fit you. All you need is to stay rooted. Rooted in your worth. Rooted in your healing. Rooted in the knowing that even when the heart rushes, your spirit knows how to stand still. This encounter may stir your emotions, but let it stir your growth even more. This isn't about who they are. It's about who you become in their presence. Let that be your focus. Let that be your strength. Let that be the reason you don't just survive this emotional moment. You rise through it. You are not losing control. You are learning to lead yourself, with softness, with strength, with soul. The spiritual purpose of this encounter. Libra, there are some people you were never meant to keep, but you were meant to meet them, to feel them, to learn from them. This person, the one who appears unexpectedly, the one who shakes something loose in you, they are not a mistake. Their timing, their energy, the way they enter your life, it's all intentional. You weren't meant to avoid this. You weren't meant to miss it. You were meant to walk through it, with open eyes and an open heart. Because this encounter has a spiritual purpose. They are here to reveal where you truly are in your emotional journey. They'll reflect how far you've come, the growth you may have forgotten to celebrate, and they'll gently point to what still needs your love. Your patience, your attention. This person will not teach you through lessons you study, but through feelings you experience. You'll realize how much more self-aware you've become when you don't fall for the same patterns. You'll see how emotionally mature you've grown when you respond with calm instead of chaos. You'll notice your inner healing when you don't beg for love, because you've already found it in yourself. They've been sent to stretch your soul, to see if you can stay soft without being swept away, to see if you can stay grounded even when something stirs every part of your heart. And yes, they may awaken your desires, they may make you crave closeness, they may spark a fire in you that's been sleeping. But that's the point. This test is not about whether you feel, it's about how you handle the feeling. Can you hold space for connection without losing yourself inside of it? Can you honor your boundaries even when chemistry tempts you to cross them? Can you recognize the difference between spiritual alignment and emotional attachment? Sometimes, Libra, the universe sends us people not to stay, but to shape us. They act like mirrors, not because they reflect the best parts of us, but because they reflect the hidden ones, the insecure parts, the fearful parts, the parts we thought we had buried and moved on from. And when those parts rise, don't panic. That's not failure. That's not weakness. That is the moment of clarity. That's when you see what still needs to be healed, and now you have the strength to heal it. This is not a distraction. It's a divine alignment, a cosmic checkpoint to measure your growth, to remind you of how resilient you've become and how much grace you now walk in. This encounter may never turn into a love story, but it will become a soul story, a sacred part of your timeline that shifts how you see yourself forever. So don't resist it, don't regret it, and don't try to turn it into something it's not. Let it teach you, let it change you, let it strengthen you, because the truth is, you are not the same person you were before this moment. And that, Libra, is the greatest evidence that your soul has evolved. If they walk away, Libra. If this person leaves, if one day you wake up and realize the connection has faded or the energy between you has shifted, don't fall apart. It's okay to feel the sting. It's okay to feel confused, disappointed, or even heartbroken. But remember this, their presence was never a mistake. And their exit is not a punishment. Some souls arrive not to stay, but to awaken. Not to love you forever, but to remind you of how deeply you can feel. Not to walk with you through the rest of your life, but to show you where you've grown and where you still need healing. They may disappear without giving you the words you hoped for. They may not explain why they stopped calling, why they stopped showing up. They might walk away quietly, and you'll be left with silence. But even in that silence, a lesson will echo. This is not abandonment. This is transformation. This is your opportunity to learn that closure is not always a conversation. Sometimes closure is a choice to accept the purpose of the moment and release the attachment to the outcome. Let them go with grace. Don't chase, don't beg, don't try to reopen a door that was only meant to be passed through once. Some doors are not entrances or exits, they are thresholds. Transitions, sacred crossings that lead you closer to your true self. You might think, but it felt so real. Why would something that powerful end so soon? Because it wasn't about how long they stayed. It was about what shifted inside of you while they were there. They came to wake something up inside you. They came to activate an emotion, a realization, a depth you hadn't accessed before. And once that awakening happened, their purpose was fulfilled. It's not rejection, it's redirection. It's the universe pulling you back to your path, even if your heart wanted to detour. So if they walk away, let them. Let them walk, not with bitterness, but with blessing. Whisper, "Thank you for what you stirred in me. Thank you for what you taught me without even knowing." Because their role in your life, no matter how short, was sacred. Divine encounters are never wasted. Even the ones that confuse us, even the ones that hurt. They are bridges, they are reflections, they are catalysts for the version of you that you are now stepping into. You don't need answers from them. You don't need to hold on to something that was only meant to pass through. All you need is the quiet confidence of knowing you are stronger now, wiser now, clearer now. Let them go. And watch how your spirit rises in the space they leave behind, the hidden gift. Libra, when the emotions quiet, when the heart stops racing, and the storm inside finally settles, what's left behind is not emptiness, it's clarity. Yes, the moment may have been overwhelming. Yes, their presence may have stirred up deep emotions, old fears, and buried longings. But when the emotional dust settles, you're left with a gift, one that was invisible in the beginning. Clarity about what you truly need. Clarity about how far you've come. Clarity about where your boundaries now stand. And where your standards are no longer negotiable. This encounter wasn't just a test of how deeply you feel. It was a lesson in how clearly you now see. You've realized something important. You're no longer interested in love that shakes your peace. You're no longer chasing connections that drain your spirit just because they seem intense. You now recognize that real love, the kind your soul deserves, feels safe, honest, present, and balanced. You've outgrown the chaos. You've outgrown the versions of yourself that once tolerated confusion. Now you protect your calm. Now you listen to your nervous system when it speaks. Now you walk away the moment something feels off, not because you don't care, but because you've finally learned to care for yourself. This person, this moment, this unexpected encounter, it wasn't random. It was a spiritual checkpoint, a divine way of pausing your path, shining a light on your emotional growth, and asking, are you still who you were? Or have you become someone wiser? You didn't just survive the encounter. You evolved through it. You learned the difference between attraction and alignment, between attention and affection, between chemistry and compatibility. This was never just about the person. It was about what they unlocked in you. They were a mirror, a key, a teacher. They may not be in your life tomorrow, but their presence has shifted how you walk into every tomorrow from here on out. You're more self-aware. You're more emotionally intelligent. You're more grounded. And from this place, Libra, you'll never again hand your peace to anyone who doesn't know how to hold it with care. That is the hidden gift, the kind that doesn't sparkle at first glance, but glows quietly in your spirit forever. Listen to the silence, Libra. Now that the encounter has come and gone, now that the noise has faded, now that your emotions are no longer pulling at you from every direction, there is something sacred waiting in the space that remains. It's called silence. Not emptiness, not absence, but a divine quiet, the kind of silence that doesn't feel hollow, it feels holy. In that silence, listen, not with your ears, but with your soul. Because when the world becomes still, the universe finally speaks. And what it says is not loud or dramatic. It doesn't shout or demand your attention. Instead, it arrives like a whisper on the wind, a soft knowing in your chest, a peaceful truth wrapped in stillness. You'll feel something inside you shift, not suddenly, but gradually, like sunlight spilling slowly into a dark room. A sense of calm returning to your body, a lightness in your spirit, a clarity in your thoughts. And then it will hit you. Not like a wave, but like a realization. You passed the test. You felt the weight of emotion. You stood in front of temptation. You sat in discomfort. You danced with desire. And still, you did not abandon yourself. You did not collapse under pressure. You did not twist yourself to be chosen. You did not run from the mirror that this person held up to you. You looked into it. You stood tall, and you chose your growth over your fears. That is what it means to evolve. Not that you don't feel, but that you no longer fall apart every time you do. You remain grounded when the earth beneath you shifted. You held your peace when the moment tried to steal it. You stayed rooted when everything inside you wanted to float away. And now, in the quiet, you can hear the universe smiling. Because you've proven something powerful, that your soul has matured, that your emotions are no longer the drivers, they are now the messengers, that you trust yourself now in a way you never did before. This is the kind of silence that only comes after a storm, the kind that holds gratitude, the kind that wraps around you like a warm blanket, the kind that doesn't leave you feeling alone, but accompanied by your higher self. So rest in this silence, Libra. Let it speak to you. Let it soothe you. Let it confirm what your heart already knows, that you didn't just survive something emotional, you transcended it. And that is the real victory. Your soul just evolved. Libra, you've just walked through something deeper than words. This wasn't just an emotional wave. This was a soul-shaping moment. A turning point, a spiritual checkpoint. The kind of experience that quietly changes the way you move through the world. Not everyone would have noticed the shift. Not everyone would have stayed through the discomfort. But you did. You saw the test. You felt the weight, and still, you didn't fall. You stood, you breathed, you allowed your emotions to rise, but you didn't let them lead you off your path. And that's what makes this powerful. You didn't just go through something, you grew through it. You've now learned the difference between being shaken and being broken. You've learned how to feel without losing your center, how to care without collapsing, how to open your heart without giving away your soul. Always remember this, your emotions are valid, but they are not your identity. They are messages, not definitions. They are waves, not roots. Encounters may come, they may stir something ancient in you, but nothing and no one can uproot a soul that's finally learned to ground itself in truth. You are no longer someone searching for peace. You are peace. You are balance. You are the calm after the chaos, and you carry the wisdom of someone who has seen the storm and stayed standing. Libra, you were not sent here to break. You were sent here to bend with the wind, breathe through the fire, and bloom in your time, just like the universe designed. So if this message touched something in your spirit, if your heart whispered, "Yes, this was for me," then write in the comments right now. I choose to stay grounded, no matter what comes. That single sentence carries power. It becomes a promise you make to yourself and to your future. And if you felt seen here, if you felt spoken to, stay with us, subscribe, because this journey of emotional evolution, of spiritual awakening, of deep, honest, soul-level healing, it's only just begun. And you, dear Libra, are already right where you need to be.